To be honest, this is one of the most shocking and disturbing allegations that I've ever heard come against a pastor. And the question comes about, why does this keep happening? What is the reason why there is a large celebrity pastor culture within the church? I think we got to change the whole entire culture that we have. This is the position that you sign up for when you become a pastor. And it's a hard one. It's hard.
Asai Williams.
Megachurch pastor Robert Morris has recently resigned from Gateway Church due to allegations of child molestation. To be honest, this is one of the most shocking and disturbing allegations that I've ever heard come against a pastor. But it isn't just that. Tony Evans, pastor to almost 10,000 people, has also resigned due to quote unquote sin. And of course, we all remember Carl Lentz, pastor of Hillsong Church in NYC, who ended up resigning due to his numerous affairs that he had. And the question comes about, why does this keep happening? What is the reason why megachurch pastors, large pastors, pastors in general, keep on falling into sin and having to resign, essentially making the church look bad in front of the whole entire world? Because due to them, people are doubting the church, doubting the faith. And the question arises, why? Why does this keep happening? What is the reason why it keeps happening? And I thought about this for a while, and the short answer is, well, we're dealing with sinful human beings, and you're always going to have situations like this when you're dealing with sinful human beings. But the long answer is, it seems to be that there is a large celebrity pastor culture within the church that keeps on getting amplified. And this celebrity pastor culture comes along with expensive clothing, lavish lifestyle, mega mansions, you name it, bad theology, heresies.
I said God gave us the authority in the earth realm, and God can only do in the earth what we ask him to do. Y'all hear me, because I know you say, oh, God is in control and God is in charge. No, God puts you in control of this realm, and God can only do in this realm what you invite him to do.
And I think that this is the reason why we keep on seeing this happen over and over again. Is the celebrification, if that's a word, I don't know if that's a word, of pastors. I find it funny that us as Protestants, I'm a Protestant, by the way, us as Protestants, we often kind of look at the Pope in a weird way. He rides around in a funny car. It seems as if he has power and ultimate power over everything, that he can decree things and it be so. But if we really take a hard look at ourselves, we have this in the Protestant movement. But the difference is, instead of having one pope like the Catholics have, we have millions of little popes who have unchecked power to do whatever they please, to say whatever they please, to say the most outlandish things with little to no backlash. And I really think we need to examine ourselves when it comes to stuff like this, because we prop up men to this standard that they shouldn't be propped up to. It's detrimental to the church, because the leadership office within the church is a servant office, and we've turned it into a celebrity office in some instances, where some pastors feel like they can just do anything. So you have pastors doing absolute buffoonery on stage.
Chosen, not forsaken. I am who he says I am.
Heresy on stage.
The Creator has now become subject to what he created. He gave up his omnipotence, his omniscience, and his omnipresence. He submitted himself to prayer because he'd given up omnipotence, all powerful. Now he has to go to the garden and pray. Omniscience, because he says, no man knoweth the day nor the hour which the Son of Man cometh, no, not the angels, nor the Son. But the Father, which is in heaven, means I don't know everything anymore. So I gave up my omniscience. He traveled because he gave up his omnipresence. Because as Father, he never had to travel. He's just there.
That's modalism, Patrick.
What?
Modalism, an ancient heresy confessed by teachers such as Noetus and Sibelius, which espouses that God is not three distinct persons, but that he merely reveals himself in three different forms. This heresy was clearly condemned in Canon 1 at the First Council of Constantinople in 381 AD, and those who confess it cannot rightly be considered a part of the Church Catholic. Come on, Patrick!
And it's getting out of hand and it's unchecked. And I think it goes two ways. So it's bad for the pastors and it's bad for the congregation. It's bad for the pastors because when you prop someone up so high, it makes them feel as if there's no one else above them. So when they're dealing with a struggle, a secret struggle that they should be open about, they end up just keeping it to themselves, and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And we end up with a situation like what happened to Carl Lentz, where it seemed like he had an issue that could have been checked if he had the proper accountability in his life. But instead, because he was propped up so high, because he was almost at a level where there was no one above him, the problem never got fixed. The sin never got dealt with. And I think that this is truly, truly detrimental to the life of a believer, any believer, but especially a pastor who is seen as a celebrity or put in a celebrity status. So I want to highlight this verse in Mark because it perfectly encapsulates what a leader should be like and what we're getting wrong right now. So I'm reading from Mark 10, 35 to 45. So it goes like this. Then James and John, the son of Zebedee, came over and spoke to him. Teacher, they said, we want you to do us a favor. What is your request? He asked. They replied, when you sit on your glorious throne, we want to sit in place of honor next to you, one on your right and the other on your left. But Jesus said to them, you don't know what you're asking. Are you able to drink from the bitter cup of suffering I am about to drink? Are you able to be baptized with the baptism of suffering I'm about to be baptized with? Oh, yes, they replied. We're able. Then Jesus told them, you will indeed drink from my bitter cup and be baptized with my baptism of suffering. But I have no right to say who will sit on my right or left. God has prepared those places for the ones he has chosen. When the other disciples heard what James and John had asked, they were indignant. So Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must be the slave of everyone else. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many. There is this beautiful notion of if you want to be a leader, you have to be a servant. You have to be a servant. This is what true leadership is servanthood. The leaders shouldn't show up, and I've been to a church like this where the pastor shows up, he preaches his 40-minute sermon, he leaves through the side door, that's it, go home until next Sunday. Is that servanthood? Would you call that serving? I think we got to change the whole entire culture that we have within the church of servanthood, of pastorship, right? And he says, you must be a slave to everyone else, meaning you want to meet their needs. You're obligated to meet the needs of everybody around you. This is the position that you sign up for when you become a pastor. And it's a hard one. It's hard. And this is why I think we should continually pray for our leaders. That they should have this type of spirit, the servant spirit, the type of spirit where you preach a sermon on a Sunday and then and then you're in the congregation, you're talking to everybody. Hey, do you have questions about what I just preached? This is the type of servanthood that I believe that Jesus is talking about. But in many of these mega churches, what is the culture? Is we have this guy on stage who is this celebrity type figure who we've never met. In many cases, so many people don't even meet the pastor or talk to them, have a conversation with them because he's so busy, which is one of my problems with the whole megachurch structure in the first place, is that how does a pastor disciple 10,000 people equally? I don't think it's possible. And as I said before, this is what leads to the separation between the pastor and the congregation, where you feel like you have no one else to turn to because you are essentially the ultimate authority in your church. So when you're dealing with something, there's no one else to turn to. And my hope and my wish is that there will be a complete shift, that maybe we don't need a megachurch structure in the church. Maybe the megachurch structure doesn't need to be so. Maybe we need more intimate spaces where everyone is discipled the way they should be discipled. You can go up to your pastor and ask him questions, and your pastor would provide for you the necessary things that would fulfill you spiritually. And if we don't change this, I foresee more pastors stepping down because of sin or you name it. But let me know what you think. Are you a fan of the megachurch structure? Are you a fan of any of these celebrity pastors? Let me know down below. Remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, God bless.